So the other dude forgot some shit, or the camera didn't work, or something. Anyways, that's what I'm here for. You know the Battle of Yorktown? The battle that basically ended the Revolutionary War? The one Cornwallis surrendered at? The one America won? I've talked about it. If you don't, go watch the other videos. Anyways, I digress. What you don't know is that the single most valuable piece of intelligence that led to that surrender came from an enslaved man who spied on the British High Command. Anyways, yeah, sorry. I'll go now.
Gained the personal trust of that shady fucker Benedict Arnold and Cornwallis himself. Then went home after the war ended, still a fucking slave. His name was James. He didn't even have a last name yet, but he'd sure the fuck earned one. Born into slavery in 1748 in New Kent County, Virginia, on the plantation of William Armistead, he could read and write, which are rare and dangerous skills to have for an enslaved man at that time. And those skills would end up being the entire reason why I'm talking to you about this.
Here I come.
America's first black double agent, the man who wasn't even allowed to have his own name yet, he'd eventually became James Armistead Lafayette. But that name didn't exist, and for most of the story, he's just James. In 1781, with William Armistead's permission, James volunteered to serve under Marquis de Lafayette. You know, that French kid who basically just took all of his money and left France and came over here and started fighting with one of three good French guys. Anyways, here's what's wild. Virginia's royal governor had already offered freedom to any enslaved person willing to fight for the British. I mean, honestly, looking at the particulars of it, you'd be stupid not to take that deal. Thousands took it and escaped behind British lines. James had that exact same door opened up for him, but he chose to spy for the Americans instead.
You see, Private Doss is a conscientious objector.
Lafayette realized James' value almost immediately as a Virginia native. James knew every back road in the state without needing maps. So Lafayette sent his ass deep undercover. James posed as a runaway slave seeking refuge, and because he was a native Virginian who knew the terrain, the British were like, "Sure, buddy, let's go." No suspicion whatsoever. I mean, I'd understand it like a couple days before the war started, but not like after the fact. Everybody's suspicious after the fact. He got direct access to the center of British command, something almost no spy on either side ever achieved. This dude was so convincing that Benedict Arnold, the most notorious traitor in American history, personally trusted James enough to use him as a guide for British troops on the Virginia backroads. The Continental Army's information was coming from a dude that Benedict Arnold thought was loyal to the crown. If that ain't a kick in the dick. When Arnold left Virginia, James simply just transferred his act to Cornwallis, waiting tables, serving at Cornwallis's headquarters, pretty much just eavesdropping on every damn thing.
Tell me the whole thing again. I wasn't listening.
Listening to British officers discuss strategy openly because nobody suspects anything. It's no wonder they lost the war. It was like stupidest ass strategies ever. Cornwallis trusted James enough to actually order him to go spy on Lafayette. James said sure. Then walked straight back to Lafayette and told him everything Cornwallis said. Bro was spying on his own spying. Cornwallis was moving 10,000 troops from Portsmouth to Yorktown. That intelligence let Washington and Lafayette block British reinforcements entirely, securing the American-French blockade that sealed Cornwallis's fate.
And then what?
Checkmate.
October 19th, 1781. Cornwallis surrenders. Cornwallis was a bitch. He said he was sick. He called in sick to the surrendering. But can you imagine if he had went and seen old James just standing around?
Yeah.
Awkward. And here's where most history channels would end the episode on a high note. We won! Huzzah! We're not doing that. The Emancipation Act of 1783 promised freedom to enslaved men who fought for America. But only soldiers.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
James was a spy. He wasn't on the front lines. He wasn't even enlisted. The law had a fucking loophole, and James didn't qualify. This dude helped win the entire war. Then went home. Slave. That's fucked up. The paradox of liberty, am I right? In 1784, Lafayette personally wrote a testimonial for the Virginia Assembly on James's behalf, calling his intelligence work top-notch, essential, and faithfully delivered. You know what happened? It was denied. The first petition didn't even pass the committee. James didn't quit. In 1786, he petitioned again, writing that he was persuaded of the just right which all mankind have to freedom, notwithstanding his own state of bondage. January 9th, 1787, the petition finally passed. Both houses and Virginia's governor signed it. He was free. 6 years after the Battle of Yorktown, he was free. Upon gaining his freedom, he chose the surname Lafayette, a name not taken from bondage, but from friendship. James Armistead Lafayette. He picked his own name. After everything, that's the part he got to choose. He went on to own his own land, he got married, raised a family, and was eventually granted a military pension. Then in 1824, the actual Marquis de Lafayette returned to America for a celebration tour and a massive parade. He spotted James in the crowd and embraced him publicly in front of an astonished crowd. Two men, one who started the war, a French nobleman, and the other one who started the war as a slave. Ended up two old friends hugging it out on a street in Virginia in the middle of a parade. He lived as a farmer in Virginia until his death, August 9th, 1830. Yorktown ends the war in every textbook. Cornwallis surrenders. America wins. Roll credits. Up until I started researching this, I had no idea who this man was. And I am a fucking history nerd. Nobody talks about the guy whose intelligence made that surrender possible and went home that same week somebody else's property. James infiltrated the highest levels of British command, fooled Benedict Arnold and Cornwallis simultaneously, and helped engineer the single most decisive American victory of the entire Revolutionary War. Then he had to go beat the balls off his government for 6 years just to be recognized as a man. He won our freedom before he won his own. To me, that's so much more worth remembering. See you tomorrow.